Let's ask the question, did the land reform program benefit majority of Zimbabweans? Is government of Zimbabwe really moving towards making sure that the land reform program benefits every black? Latest development that we saw of the president at the pre-Cape farm with a number of elites like Kudata Gray, ministers, and other top individuals or captains of the industries. Is it a sign that we are moving in the right direction? Before we talk about that, let us look at the history of the land in Zimbabwe. After the land was forcefully taken from the black people, in 1931, an act called the Land Apportionment Act was enacted, which was meant to benefit the few white elites. And in the few white elite that we talk about, they are the ones who were part of the British South Africa Company. Some of them benefited a decade later, who were part of the World War II, including the late Ian Douglas Smith. We look at how the Land Apportionment Act benefited the whites, who were a minority, over the black, who were a majority. On top of the Land Apportionment Act, there were other taxes that the black people were subjected to, which include the issue of hard tax, cattle tax, and a myriad of taxes. This was meant to make sure that the black majority are going to keep on being subservient to the white minority rule. And this led to issues like forced labor that the black people were subjected to. Fast forward 1980, the land was now ours. The question is, how many people benefited from the land or the land reform? We even fast forward 20 years later after 1980, which is year 2000. The land fast track program, did it really benefit the black people, or it was a pie in the sky, a lie in order to fit a well-thought propaganda? Let us look at the details. The details of the land reform program are this. The people who invaded the land did not have the title deeds of the land. What they were offered by the government were offer letters, and some of them could not even secure that land to have title deeds on it because it was taken unlawfully. And being taken unlawfully, the government didn't have full ownership of that land. Now, in the scheme of things, the government then decided to offer 99-year leases to the then farmers. But the 99-year leases were not sufficient to make this land bankable, because the institutions that could allow the people to bank on the land were hostile towards Zimbabwe. They had imposed the sanctions on Zimbabwe. So now Zimbabwe had to find a way of getting the title deeds from the white farmers. And surely they did it, but they did it nicodemously. You don't have to believe Jethro for this. Let us hear the former Prime Minister of Zimbabwe, Professor Arthur Mtambara, speaking on the issue of the government or the elite getting title deeds from white farmers nicodemously.
During the days of Gono, we're able to generate US dollars this way. And how do you use your US dollars? You chase the farmer from the farm. They go and live in a shack in South Africa, in Australia, in England. They're broke. They can't pay school fees for their kids. You approach them. How much is your farm worth? Oh, my farm is worth 15 million. No, we never give you 15. We'll never pay. How about 4 million? And the desperate white farmer thinks about it for a second, takes the $4 million and hands over title. And by the way, this has been confirmed by a commercial farmer in another interview that he knows of 350 farms whose title was taken from them and given to these guys through a transaction.
But are those titles valid?
You tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
You tell me.
You may choose to say he is talking from the opposition bench, but let us look at the evidence that was presented to us when Mnangagwa was divorcing her husband, Simba Chikore. Now, the number of farms that Mnangagwa has shows you that the number of elite people, including our very own late president, Robert Mugabe, had was more than what benefited the majority of Zimbabweans? How many judges who got the land? How many brigadiers got the land? How many top ZANU-PF supporters got the land? See where we are going. Now the question is, as we go back to the pre-Cape farm, the pre-Cape farm consisted of the elite in the farm. Did you see any of the rural people represented there? Do you, as a Zimbabwean in the rural of Gokwe, own the land that you have? Is your land bankable? Can you use that as collateral to the bank so that you can secure a loan so that you can work on the land? The answer is no. Land that a lot of or majority of the people that are the biggest supporters of Msangano have does not belong to them. The chief in the area, they can chase them at whim because the land does not belong to them. Surely the land must belong to the state, but there must be some form of an arrangement of giving title deeds to the black people because initially they used to own this land. So there comes the question to you, ladies and gentlemen. Do we own the land as Zimbabweans? Is the land reform program, was it a success to the rest or it was a success to a few elite? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject.